The Jewish Education Project is an organization that's been around for over 100 years in New York, which has always aimed to try and give Jewish educators the best resources and materials possible to ensure that every Jewish child and their family gets the Jewish education that they so richly deserve.
The vision of the agency is a world in which Jewish children and their families engage with Judaism and the Jewish community to thrive, both as Jews and in the world. We empower and support Jewish educators to create really transformative Jewish education experiences.
The Jewish Education Project is here to help educators take education really to the next level, and not just in the education level, also in the social emotional piece of the students.
The core areas of the Jewish Education Project are day schools, congregational schools, early childhood settings, youth serving organizations, JCCs, residential camps, Israel travel, and so much more.
COVID really hit us all, and it hit the Jewish education space in a big way. Everything came to a halt.
The pandemic has changed everything about what work looks like. Our religious school and teen programs are entirely online, almost no face-to-face interaction that's in person with anyone.
You can't teach the same way you taught in class, in person, and then in Zoom.
Literally within 24 hours of the pandemic hitting, the Jewish Education Project went into gear to start helping educators understand how to use Zoom, what types of resources are available for them to be able to take their education online.
We came and we had one-on-one training to learn how to just do anything.
With the Jewish Education Project help, I've learned how to apply the rules of responsive classroom into virtual learning.
I will reach out to them often with questions about what to do and where to go and who to contact, just because, who better than them to call on?
We need to be even more focused than before to ensure that the best trained, passionate, dynamic, creative educators will bring relevant Jewish education to our youth and their families.
Jewish education, with all of its wisdom, its values, its tradition, its heritage, has the capacity to transform lives and to build a better future. That's what we strive to do every single day.
Welcome to the Jewish Education Project's 2021 Virtual Benefit. I am Martine Fleischman, President of the Jewish Education Project, and it is my pleasure to welcome you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. During these challenging times, I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to be together with you, even if virtually, in community. As I stand here this evening on Zoom, I can imagine the room we would have all been in, filled with roundtables, networking, discussing the robust Jewish future we are all working on for our Jewish community. This is what inspires me. And so too, how this year has made it so important to honor educators who are always heroes, educating our youth to be the best of themselves. Teachers have changed my life, inspired me in many ways along my Jewish and secular journeys. Some have passed on, but many still teach me every week, every month, and I honor them with much respect and admiration. So now that I'm a first-time grandmother, I appreciate even more than before the impact an educator has and can have on a child's life. And this is why I love the simple, authentic beauty of our theme this evening. Educators are our heroes. In thinking about the last 12 months, I don't think truer words could be spoken. Jewish educators have engaged students in new, profound ways to support their mental health, to help them maintain connections with friends, to give them a sense of normalcy and hope. Jewish educators do this work in person and across digital platforms and in ways that help students draw inspiration and strength from Jewish learning, values, and our very rich heritage. So while educators are on the ground, outside or in a classroom, or zooming in to engage students, the Jewish Education Project is their proud partner behind the scenes. From the day the pandemic forced schools and communities to close in person, we went into crisis response mode. As many, we pivoted because we saw a major void that needed to be filled. And in many ways, the crisis has also created an opportunity for us to show what we've always steadfastly believed. Jewish education must continuously adapt to remain relevant in people's lives. So we created new resources, new training offerings, new ways for educators to connect to us and each other, all digital, all designed to help them, help students and themselves. So yes, while times still are difficult, this is an exciting moment in the life of the Jewish Education Project. We are leaning into our new offerings for educators and the new ways we offer them. We are embracing our newfound expertise in digital engagement and resourcing. And in short, we are leaping ahead and leading the community along with us. So as we chart the path ahead, we continue to focus on core areas where we can have the greatest impact on a large scale. That means we're focusing on teen engagement, Israel travel, early childhood education, congregational schools, building networks of educators, and of course, continuing to build out our digital footprint and capacity. And even more than just meeting the needs of the moment, we are thinking big about the future. We ask ourselves every day, how can we help create Jewish education that is meaningful, relevant, and impactful to people's lives today and tomorrow? So, if you care about answering these big questions with us, about helping us support our educators to do their impactful work, I invite you to donate now, because every gift helps. Over the last year, educators, our heroes, were there for their students as teachers, mental health supporters, counselors, and as friends. So let's be there for them. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Eric Goldstein, my friend, CEO of UJA Federation of New York, our primary funder, and our incredible partner in all the work we do.
UJA is delighted to join the celebration of the Jewish Education Project's 2021 virtual benefit, and in particular to take this moment to thank and honor our community educators. We've all seen challenge after challenge over this last year. In many ways, one of the most significant is the impact on our children, the dramatic change in routine, coping with social isolation, fear of illness, loss of loved ones, and other mental health effects. No doubt, one group of heroes who've worked tirelessly, day in and day out, to mitigate the effects of the pandemic on our children are our educators. Needless to say, they've had to dramatically pivot in how they engage their students, from in-person to virtual learning, connecting through masks, and so on. But beyond all that, we've witnessed endless innovation and passion, the countless hours dedicated to lesson planning, sometimes to reach a classroom of children who are divided between home and in school, and the inspiring commitment of our teachers and administrators, notwithstanding their own personal challenges, to do everything they possibly can to connect to their students. I also want to give enormous thanks to Martine Fleischman and David Breifman and all the volunteer leaders and professionals at the Jewish Education Project. UJA is incredibly proud to be a long-standing supporter of the Jewish Education Project, whose work, now more than ever, is essential in helping our schools, faculty, and administrators meet this incredibly challenging moment and help shape our Jewish future. Thank you all who are joining this gala for your vital support of JEP, and Mazel Tov to the young pioneers who are being recognized this evening.
Thank you to Eric for sharing those beautiful sentiments. We are so grateful for UJ Federation's support and partnership of the Jewish Education Project. And now it is my pleasure to invite all of you to learn more about the heroic educators we are celebrating tonight and the students and families they impact.
When the schools went remote last March, everybody was in shock. We were all experiencing globally across the world an unprecedented time in our lives.
As educators, we are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, parents, children, and many of us were suffering personally.
It's challenging to run a school in a typical year. When you superimpose a global pandemic, it makes it exponentially harder.
It's kind of hard that we're not able to have as many one-on-one interactions with teachers and collaborating with our classmates.
This pandemic has forced us to reimagine everything in Jewish education, from what we teach to how we teach. We have to go back, retool the entire program to make sure that we are doing everything we can to engage every single learner in a new dynamic way that they've never experienced before.
Teachers have been doing remarkable things to really balance helping their learners feel safe, whether they're on Zoom or in the classroom, and really supporting their learners and themselves in this new frontier.
Yeshiva and day schools often had to hire additional staff. Perhaps they needed to rent additional space. There was a lot of work that went into allowing for schools to be open during a very trying time.
Teachers had to learn entirely new skills, how to deliver all of that sticky learning, that meaningful engagement experience on Zoom. They had to figure out how to create classes that worked in terms of the class size and the class dynamic.
We have really seen them come together to develop innovative and impactful Jewish education, to help their families feel held and heard, to really work together to create as many opportunities as they can to make connections to their families and to other congregants.
During COVID, even though it was really hard, the teachers, they would try to do more fun activities in class, or sometimes do a lot more Kahoots or projects, because for a lot of us, we're online, it's a lot harder to stay interested and focused. But our teachers, they try to really flip the script and make it as great as they can.
They made it good because sometimes they make some jokes and they make a lot of people on Zoom laugh and have fun.
We needed help in strategic planning for this year. And the Jewish Education Project provided that, which was invaluable to our team as we were trying to simultaneously run a virtual school and plan for a year that would hopefully be in person, which it has been.
I think this time is very interesting, and it provides us with almost a different lens to look at what we do. So not only do we try to be successful currently under these conditions, but I think these conditions provide us with a little understanding of maybe how we might have to adjust things in the future.
I salute our educators. You are on the front lines of teaching our young children.
The Jewish educators out there deserve all of our praise and all of our thanks. Their work has been truly heroic, and without them, we would not be where we are today. Unbelievable. That is so inspiring. I'm David Breifman, CEO of the Jewish Education Project. As someone who cares deeply about Jewish community of today and tomorrow, that is very heartening for me to watch. Every single day, those educators rise to the occasion to meet the challenges of this moment and to find ways to continue to connect with students and to help them to thrive. Educators know they can count on us for support and for the very best programs, trainings, and resources that help them deliver meaningful Jewish education that speaks to their students and to what's going on in their lives. At the Jewish Education Project, we are building an entire field that believes Jewish education has something special to offer. We are proud to be the visionary leading innovator in the field, working with and supporting organizations and educators across the country. I believe that education and Jewish education can change the world. I also believe that education is not just about meeting people where they are at, it's about seeing them where they are and taking them on a journey. Often we don't know the destination of that journey, but make no mistake about it. Education is not just about making people feel comfortable where they are, it's helping to transform them. And it is with this in mind that I am so honored to be able to be with all of you this evening as we honor our 5 Robert M. Sherman Young Pioneer Award winners, Deco DiCalandria, Melissa Hume, Damara Kovnats Hall, Pamela Schuller, and Avi Siegel. Not only are these 5 individuals outstanding Jewish educators in their own right, but they represent the very best of Jewish education, as well as the promise of what tomorrow will bring. Join me in paying tribute to them now.
When the pandemic hit, I was really determined that I was going to learn to see Zoom and digital forms of communication as another language and not be scared of it.
Teens have it hard. They're living through something that had never been experienced before. I had to shift my program to figure out how we can still garner connection.
Zoom fatigue is real. Like, this is a real struggle. So when I teach this year, it is really important to me that I bring a lot of positive energy to what I'm doing.
When COVID hit, we thought it was a perfect time to mine it for opportunities. Suddenly, we had teens with all of this time on their hands that wanted to be a part of building the Here Now Mental Health Jewish Teen app.
Teaching during the pandemic is not an easy task. It's important for me as an educator to let my students know that I am here for them. Always, whether I'm at home and on Zoom, whether we're in person, we are going to engage in learning together.
Educators have been nothing short of heroic during the pandemic. They have literally put other people's lives, their students, before their own. The Young Pioneer Award winners exemplify the resiliency of educators all around the country. What I love most about this year's Robert M. Sherman Young Pioneer Award winners is not only that they symbolize the diversity of the work that we do at the Jewish Education Project, but they also symbolize the diversity of the Jewish people today.
When we talk about Jewish people or peoplehood, it's really important for me that students have the opportunity to see beyond their own bubble and really explore what does it mean to be a Jew.
It is our job as Jews and is our job as Jewish educators to teach children to look at the Torah really as a moral compass to help us figure out what is the way that we interact with the world around us.
Getting to see a small child realize something or discover something or do something for the first time is just a really wonderful, magical experience for me.
I want my students to feel that there are people here that care about them, that want to be on their journey together.
I try to teach all of the young people that I get to partner with and work with that you can hold struggle and loving yourself at the same time. Us celebrating what makes us us is a part of our religion.
It's truly my honor to be able to introduce, to announce, and to stand here tonight with the Young Pioneer Award winners. Mazal tov to these 5 incredible heroes. To Deco, Melissa, Damara, Pamela, and Avi, we say thank you. I also want to acknowledge all of this year's nominees, each of whom received an honorable mention for the amazing work they do every day in their communities. Congratulations to all of you as well. All of you show that great Jewish education can happen in any setting with any age group. All Jewish educators aspire to make Jewish education meaningful and inspiring. They are the heroes. And now we'll hear from some prominent community leaders who share their thoughts with our educators this evening.
Dear friends, Jewish education can change our life. And I want to give you an example from the life of the Soviet Jews in the Soviet Union. We grew without having anything Jewish. No Jewish language, no Jewish tradition, no Jewish book, no faith, no place where you can learn about it.
You, as a teacher, enabled children to learn during one of the most difficult experiences in a young child's life. You created a world for kids so that parents could work, so that healthcare workers could do what they needed to do. You were on the front lines of this. You sequenced learning. You kept us going.
Jewish educators change lives. I know you changed mine. When I arrived to this country as a Korean immigrant at age 5, my very first educators were at my gan at Temple Bethel in Tacoma, Washington. These teachers helped shape my new identity as a Jewish American. And in second grade, Miss Tova said that I'd get a gold sticker if I did Shabbat blessings with my family on Friday night, and that was the encouragement we needed to start making Shabbat as a family. And then my Sunday school music teacher taught me Bashana Haba'ah, and my body danced and my soul sang, and I felt connected to this Jewish community around the world that I knew was also home. Jewish educators shape Jewish memory and ritual and community and belonging.
Hi, I'm Sue Gilad. I'm a Broadway theater producer. I really like the fact that on my shows, Moulin Rouge and Jagged Little Pill on Broadway, we try our best to infuse the best of Jewish values. My kids today are all fluent in Hebrew, and my eldest daughter is spending this year in Israel on a wild and crazy all in Hebrew adventure, and that is thanks to the amazing Jewish educators that had all the patience to teach my kids the kinds of things that I couldn't. Thank you all.
I want to say to all of you a huge todah rabbah. You have shaped so many of us in ways that you've seen and probably in so many ways you cannot know. We celebrate and thank you.
I am very grateful to all the Jewish educators that educate my 3 kids at Jewish Day School.
When we look back, we'll realize that educators were the glue that held us all together. There were people who saved us physically, but our teachers, the role that they played in every single home was immense.
I'm Abby Pogrobin, and when I think of the magic and the endurance of the Jewish story, I go immediately to its storytellers, the incredible Jewish educators who make it come alive, make it relevant, make it matter every day, every year for the rest of us. Thank you. You are our heroes. It's so easy to celebrate you tonight and the Jewish Education Project. Mazel tov.
Well, thank you to all those remarkable leaders for sharing their reflections about our heroes this evening. This truly has been an extraordinary year. Like many other organisations, last March, the Jewish Education Project closed its office doors for a period of time. Jewish education in New York has survived 2 world wars, a Great Depression, 9/11, and now a pandemic. Of course, Jewish education has survived a whole lot more than just these events, and I am humbly aware that I am addressing you here this evening, not just as the CEO of the Jewish Education Project, but as part of a tradition of Jewish wisdom and learning that is thousands of years old. Over the past year, some narratives from our tradition have been recalled for purposes of both reflection and inspiration. Is this a moment in time equivalent to the destruction of the Second Temple, awaiting new visionary models of Jewish learning to emerge as they did in Yavne? Is the darkness we're living through today the modern day equivalent to the cave from which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai emerged after 13 years to be filled with despair and then with hope? Are we here today as people who care deeply about Jewish education? Because just like Queen Esther, it is precisely for this moment that we have been put in this place at this time? None of us could have imagined or predicted the past year. And I am still haunted by those dark months in May and June, that when darkness fell, the only sounds you heard in New York were those of ambulance sirens. But I said it then, and I repeat it again now. What our community needed at that time, and still needs today, is to stand up for the most vulnerable among us. I am in awe of the tremendous work that UJA Federation of New York does to help Jews and non-Jews alike when they need it most. But then, do you remember what also happened during those dark months? Amidst the silence, the illness, and the death, emerged the 7 o'clock clap, where people stood on their stoops and on their balconies to applaud the health workers, the first responders, those people that often put their own lives secondary to the ones that they were serving. And it's with this as a backdrop that I want to say a few words about what unfolded simultaneously at the Jewish Education Project. The day after the first Jewish day schools in Westchester closed their doors, we at the Jewish Education Project held our first crisis response webinar, equipping educators with what they needed to transition as smoothly as possible online. And then we held the next webinar and the next one and the next one. And between March and June, more than 7,000 educators participated in over 150 webinars and virtual meetings. That means we impacted the lives of over 35,000 young people in those 4 months alone. And Jewish educators jumped into action as well. As one Jewish day school principal told me, we did not miss even one single day of learning as our school moved online overnight. Early childhood centres moved outdoors, Jewish educators harnessed the power of Zoom, and it wasn't easy, and yet they persisted. And then came the racial awakening of America with the murder of George Floyd, and again Jewish educators, along with other Americans, rose to the occasion. Hundreds and then thousands of them came to the Jewish Education Project, searching for support, and it happened again after the events at the Capitol building on January 6th. Because of the trust educators have in our staff, when crisis comes, the Jewish Education Project is able to act quickly and have tremendous impact. But the pandemic also changed us. As the weeks turned into months, the novelty of an online Passover became a forerunner for the support that we offered educators to run quality programs for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Chanukah, Yom HaShoah, Yom Ha'atzmaut, Purim, and now Pesach all over again. We were not only able to react to the crisis, we were there to help educators plan for the future. Our one-off webinars that met urgent needs transformed into longer series as we began to proactively help educators build towards a new tomorrow. When I first began working at the Jewish Education Project, I told Bob Sherman, my predecessor and mentor, in 5 years' time, 50% of our work will be online. I was wrong until I was right. But it wasn't 50%, it's now 100%. It's just that no one predicted that it would be a pandemic to be the catalyst. But that's just it. For us at the Jewish Education Project, we were built for this moment. Our online infrastructure and digital know-how was already in place, and overnight, we transformed. In the summer, we received generous funding from the GS Humane Group and the Jewish Crisis and Relief Fund, particularly from the Jim Joseph Foundation and the Maimonides Fund. Amidst the pandemic, and after regrettably having to contract parts of our agency, we began to grow again. We built our Jewish Educator Portal, which now has close to 10,000 regular Jewish educators accessing top quality resources that we aggregate and curate. And amidst all of this uncertainty, we launched Route One. The Marcus Foundation invested $20 million in the Jewish Education Project to bring Jewish teenagers to Israel in the summer. And we know this initiative will change the course of these teens' lives and help create a brighter future. And that's what tonight is all about. Amidst all of the amazing things that we do, we should never forget the why. We do all of this sacred work to ensure that every Jewish child has the possibility to thrive as a Jew and in the world today. We do our work so that every Jewish child can become the very best version of themselves. We do this work so that every community can benefit from our wisdom and traditions. And we empower Jewish educators so that they can help our children make this world a better place. That's the value proposition of Jewish education today. And that's why this year has been so remarkable. We proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that our agency elevates the entire field of Jewish education, raising all of the schools, synagogues, yeshivot, JCCs, summer camps, and youth groups with whom we work. Tonight is a time for me to thank those whom I represent. Look, I'm not exactly sure when it happened. Sometime during the pandemic, I made this decision to change my email signature to David Breifman, proud CEO of the Jewish Education Project. And it is this pride that I stand before all of you this evening, proud of my board, proud of my staff, proud of my partners and supporters who continue to stand by us. This hasn't been easy, but you have all stood up. I count you tonight as some of the heroes that we are honoring. I want to single out Nessa, Steve, and Susan, who have been with me every step of the way. as well as the advancement team that has made tonight possible, Elise, Joe, Karen, Gabe, and Jason. And I also want to pay tribute to Martine Fleischman, not only our president, but my confidant, my support, and my inspiration. The fact that Martine and Stanley have offered another matching grant to help support the Jewish Education Project is not only a testament to their commitment to our work, but a true statement of the unbelievable passion and dedication that Martine brings to every one of our conversations and decisions. I also want to publicly thank and acknowledge some of our key supporters. Thank you to UJA Federation of New York for your abiding commitment to the field of Jewish education and for your vital partnership in everything that we do. Thank you to all the foundations that support us. We are so grateful that you understand the importance of investing in organizations like ours that nourish the spiritual and educational needs of our community and ensure that we come out on the other side of this pandemic even stronger than before. Together, we will ensure that when this pandemic ends, and one day it will, Jewish education will lead the way in restoring and rejuvenating the world in which we live. And finally, I'd also be remiss not to mention my office mates from the past year. To Merm, Jonah, and Abby, watching us all work and learn together might be one of the pandemic's silver linings. We have eaten more family dinners together, played more soccer, watched more family movies, and certainly sung more outdoors as a family than I ever thought possible. I wouldn't wish this past year on anyone, but if I had to go through a pandemic, then I'm truly blessed to have gone through it all with you. And to all of you who have entered our home via Zoom in the last year, the staff of UJA, the amazing and incredible teachers of the Hannah Senesh Community Day School, the listeners to our Adapting Livecast, and to those listening tonight, it has been our true honor to have all of you as part of this journey with me. Tonight is our annual benefit. We celebrate our educators and the amazing work of the Jewish Education Project. So I am going to conclude by asking all of you to give to us so that we can continue to do this incredible work together. The needs in our community are significant, and I hope all of you continue to support your local agencies. But tonight I urge every one of you to make a donation to the Jewish Education Project and honor an educator who has made an impression on your family's life. I'm also thrilled just to be able to announce that our matching fund, generously supported by Martine and Stanley Fleischman, will continue to match all new and increased gifts through this Thursday, March 25th. We hope that you meet the match. In the words of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, for Jews, education is not what we know, it is who we are. And for our educators, Rabbi Sacks wrote, teachers open our eyes to the world. They give us curiosity and confidence. They teach us to ask questions. They connect us to our past and future. We have lots of heroes today, and they are often celebrities. They have their 15 minutes of fame and then they go. But the influence of good teachers stays with us. They are the people who really shape our life. I know this Pesach will be a mixed bag, some of us with family, and many of us still longing to be with the people we most cherish. But as we all enter into Pesach, my wish is for all of us so that we leave this plague behind us, find redemption in the vaccine, and experience freedom on the other side of the pandemic. And now, to conclude this evening's benefit, join with me in watching an inspiring video which encapsulates the heroic work and feelings of our educators. The music was created by our friends and colleagues at the Beit Rabban School and the Distant Cousins Band, with the video and pictures from schools across our community. Join with me in watching, and Chag Sameach to everyone.
most meaningful job on earth.
That's it.